I would not want to be caught with Ghostface anywhere, but definitely not the subway. But maybe that's just because I'm like a little bit of a country girl, so the subway alone scares me. So add Ghostface to the subway, it's terrifying.
When we decided to set the movie in New York, that was the first thing that came to mind is let's do...
10 seconds later.
10 seconds later. Let's build a kill sequence in a subway car.
I don't know if there's anything more horrifying than being trapped underground in an enclosed tube with a killer.
But we'd also come up with the idea of doing this on Halloween, so we're like, this could be a really, really fun moment where half the people in this car are wearing Ghostface masks.
Oh, shit.
This train sequence was one of the first challenges. Montreal does have a subway, but it doesn't look at all like a New York subway. But we looked at that, and we went through several iterations.
The subway set for sure is the biggest set after the apartments. Well, the car itself, that's one big one. We rented some before from New York, but just the cost of shipping it here and back, and then the weight of the real car was like limit load-bearing capacity for our stages.
So here we are. We have built from scratch a New York City subway car, 52 feet long.
Well, the car itself was more about research, and we redid plans from photographs. We didn't have access to any construction plans of the subway car, so we hired an additional set designer to do just the car. And it's like 5 or 6 weeks of set design just to recreate the plans.
When you're on it, you think you're on a subway car. And when you're standing on it, you feel like you're moving. It's like one of the actors was saying, it's like an amusement park ride.
The subway and the subway car that the art department built from scratch amazingly, which is a beautiful set. And so we're lighting that to look like it's moving when it's not actually moving.
And to see what Brett and the lighting team had designed so that it would feel like it was moving. It was something that we had, countless hours of conversations about in prep. And showing up, sitting on that subway with the trans lights moving outside the windows was one of the most surreal moments I think we've had. It felt like we'd been transported to a New York subway and we were sitting on a stage in Montreal.
So we have this train car, and then we have a platform, a subway platform.
Get your Ghostface ass away from me, Ghostface.
Which is a replica of a New York City subway station. And so we built that. The subway car can actually move. And the subway car moves into our train station and out of our train station. So we initially thought that we would have like green screen, we would do a lot of visual effects and comping of backgrounds, and we would have to shoot our own background plates with our extras in Halloween costumes. And that just doesn't fit with how Matt and Tyler work. That's just not, that's not who they are. So now we don't have any visual effects in this scene.
Except we have just the one car, not like a full train, but we're using a mirror gag to extend on the platform so we see another car, so 2 for 1. Old trick, I used that once in a movie back in '98 and it was perfect, so I was like, well, let's try the mirror again.
So this is either one of the most craziest things that have been done, or it's genius. I'm not exactly sure which. We will see.
For me, being from New York and stepping onto that set and really feeling like I'm on the subway in New York is, a testament both to the lighting team and the art department.
That's how we know it's a set. There isn't one rat carrying a slice of pizza down that little thing right there.
Seeing Matt and Tyler arrive on the set. They had seen pictures of it as it was developed, and obviously involved in the design of it with Michelle. But when they came here for the first time and it had been built, to see the look on their face, their level of enthusiasm and passion is infectious, and everyone just fed off of that.
Costume designer Avery is really killing it. All of the costumes in the background, when films are made with a lot of love, it's very, very evident. And when you're able to add bits and pieces, little homages to, the films that everyone loves so much, it's really, really special.
I think actually one of the biggest challenges for my department on this project is the subway sequence. I started prepping the subway sequence as soon as we started prepping the film. I wanted the extras outside of the world of the subway to feel super grounded. And then when you get into the subway, I wanted to feel like you were on another planet, in another world. In costume, we worked so hard to make things feel and look hyper-realistic and as best as possible. And I've had a lot of moments with my team where I'm like, this doesn't look like a costume that a real person would make. It looks like a costume that a costumer would make. So we've had to really like dial it back and kind of make things feel more grounded and less pretty.
I think we're all kind of scared when we're alone or, you know, isolated, but I think we tend to feel some sort of safety in public, even though that obviously shifts with the times, but it's genuinely terrifying, the idea of being able to be surrounded by people and still not safe, which I think, you know, unfortunately resonates. And there's just something there that I think that this movie kind of gets into a little bit that's
Yeah, it's a very
interesting.
contemporary fear in a lot of ways.
It's almost nightmare language, being unable to scream for help even though you're surrounded by people, and knowing that, you know, anybody could step up and help you, but no one does. And I think that's the real terror that you want to explore.